nigga was throwing the blow. She said, boom, boom. She was kicking. I said, Kenya, where was this energy when Portia was around? Okay, I said, don't let me call Portia.
But wait, there's more. Hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer.
What's going on, entertainers? So today I'm coming to you guys with another recap of Special Forces World's Toughest Task. Before I get started, make sure you guys hit that like button. Let me know what y'all think about this video. Let me tell y'all something. This is one of the best reality shows I think they've come up with in a minute. The reason why is because it's not like any other reality show. There's no confessionals. There's no makeup. There's none of that prettiness. We see these celebrities at their ugliest, at their rawest, okay, and at their most vulnerable. That's why I love it. So I'm not going to name the whole cast. If you guys want to check out the whole cast, tune into the next episode and also just research it as well. Some of the cast members I was familiar with. Some of them I wasn't. One of them I was familiar with, of course, is Dr. Drew, Jamie Lynn Spears, which is Zoe 101. The girls that know, okay? This episode just showed me a lot. Zoe 101, Dr. Drew, Kenya, of course, Dwight Howard, and then a couple other people I was kind of familiar with. So, and Kate Gosselin, okay? It starts off with they showing everybody in the bus, basically. Basically, this show is like military style. So I'm guessing a lot of these challenges, because I haven't, of course, served. For those of you who have served, from what I've got from this episode, a lot of the challenges they made them do are some of the same things that they make them do when you enlist in the military. I don't know what sector, but it seems as if it's literally the same similar challenges that they have them do to be able to enlist and when they're in the military. So let me know in the comments if that's true, or if it was kind of tweaked a little bit, some of the challenges just for reality television, okay? But all I know is after watching this, I ain't never gonna serve, girl, because baby, whoo! And thank you guys to all the people that do serve, because if y'all gotta go through that, okay, so we see Dr. Drew, we see Jamie Lynn Spears, and then they get everybody off the buses, and they put these bags over their head. Like, I'm talking about a black bag that they put on people that are terrorists. Okay, so they put the black bags, everybody put the black bags on their head, and then the surgeon comes off and he's just like, look at me. You're not looking. Look at me, I tell you, boy. Look at me. And then after he takes the black bag off their head, and then that's when we start getting an introduction to each and every one of them. When I see Kate Gosselin, I'm like, Kate Gosselin, how much reality shows are you going to do? This girl did so much reality TV. She's been on The Celebrity Apprentice. She's been, I think, on Dancing with the Stars. I'm just like, you better get your coin, girl. She's the older female version of William the Baddest. Shout out to William the Baddest. Okay. So then we see everybody with no makeup. Mind you, this show, there is no makeup. They're literally out there. I think they filmed this in Jordan, which is way out the country. I'm talking about in the middle of nowhere. Real military style. No makeup, no nothing. Right? So then the guy during the surgeon when he was introducing everybody, he was just like, this isn't TikTok, this isn't Instagram, you guys are all bare naked. You can't call your agent, you can't call the director, nobody. You have no access, no nothing. I was like, whew. So then the first thing they have them do is get into this pit of dirt. So everybody had to run and get into this pit of dirt to be able to dunk themselves in and get dirty. The moment they got out, Zoe 101, aka Jamie Lynn Spears, she wanted to go home. I said, this lady about to quit. She was like, I was like, I know, baby. She wanted to go home. You just seen it all across her face. And I think one of the surgeons ended up calling her out and was like, oh, do you want to go home? You don't? Okay. I was like, they was not playing. They treated some real life military, real life Marines, real life Marine Corps, all that. It was in real life type. So then they have them grab their military bags and give them their number. So in the military, they're saying what is it? I'm gonna try to use the proper terms, you guys. The DS team, right? The DS team and the DS surgeons said that all the numbers, they have to refer to them as a number. So each of them are given individual numbers. So Jamie, I remember her number was 3. So she had to grab the right bag. So your military bag contains that right number. And I think she grabbed the wrong bag. I said, Jamie, you messing up already. Where's Brittany? She was already messing up already. And the surgeon was like, you grabbed the wrong bag. What are you doing? You don't got the right bag, you dummy. And then she went back and grabbed the right one and like ran back. I just felt so bad for her because you could tell mentally she was just not prepared to be there. But the one thing that they say with the show, though, physically, they're all capable of doing it. But this challenge in this show really just tests your mental ability. So he was like, you effing coconut, you idiot. I was like, oh my God. So then they put the whole cast in their cots, which is basically where they're going to be sleeping and stuff every day. This cot is basically like a flat layer of like fabric. Okay. And like in the middle of like 2 bamboos. So it looks like. So they all have to sleep on these cots. So then we see Kate Gosselin in Confessional. She was just like, she did the show to basically learn more about herself because she said after watching herself over and over and over on the show, K+8, she realized that she was a miserable bee. Okay? Which I'm just like, at least see, if you're gonna acknowledge something, you're gonna acknowledge it, right? At least she made that self-evaluation because it was true. Like she really did come off as a miserable bee during this during that show. Like she really did. So that Kate, you guys, has like almost a panic attack because their next challenge, they have to go up in this helicopter over a sea of water. Mind you, this is crazy. Over a sea of water. Hold on to the helicopter, do like this, and fall backwards. But the key is to not, like when you're falling down, go, ah! Okay? Like you're falling down a river, a pond, a river, or something like that, right? You gotta fall straight back. Because if you go, oh my God, like Kate ended up doing, you gonna injure your back or you could injure your neck, right? So you literally have to just go back. So Kate had to go and she just started bawling. Like it was so much crying in this episode, it wasn't even funny. She was just like, I don't know if I can do this. So she ends up going and they put her up there. She boom, pow. On her way down, she almost get it right? But halfway down, she starts panicking. Feet start wiggling. She boom. And they said if you land the wrong way, it could hurt as if you're falling on concrete. Which I'm just like, see, that's why I don't do stuff like this. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a mental task, okay? So then Kate falls drastically, and then they have her checked with the medic because her neck started hurting and she had like a lot of pain. So she had a severe pain during the fall. The main focus on this episode was Jamie Lynn Spears, aka Zoe 101. Ooh yeah. Okay, shout out to Zoe 101. That was like when I was little. Okay, that was like shout. So she goes, and after she does it, and mind you, she does it great, right? She doesn't fall or anything. She doesn't fall dramatically or doesn't do it to where it's not supposed to be, right? And she says that the reason why it was traumatizing to her is because her daughter that was 8 years old almost drowned in like a river somewhere, right? And she tried to save the daughter but couldn't, but paramedics ended up getting there in time and they ended up saving the daughter before she could. And she ended up seeing the daughter right next to her and she wasn't breathing and stuff like that. So after she got out of that sea of water, the lady just started bawling. She was just like, oh my God, I want to go back to the garden. I'm playing, she didn't say that, but she was like, ah. She started bawling. Kenya's just like, oh my God, like what's wrong? You did it. Like, it's okay. Because at first Kenya thought that her daughter passed because of it, but the daughter was still alive. Like the paramedic was able to rescue the daughter, right? So they all get back to the car. That's what was the most memorable for me for the people that end up falling like backwards and stuff like that, right? So Jamie wanted to go home because of her kids. And mind you, after this whole neck drop, guess who was the first to go home? Mind you, I think it's if I'm not mistaken, 15 of them. But the first person that had to go home because of medical reasons was Kate Gosselin, because she injured her neck because she fell down. She fell too dramatically. Okay. So each time somebody has to go home, they kind of do like a countdown of how much people are left during this whole task. I feel like Kenya gonna end up making it the whole way because not one challenge she was budget. I say that's my gripe. One thing about it, I don't care what nobody say. Y'all could talk that about Kenya, but mentally, she's a strong B. Okay, that's one thing you can't take away from Kenya. Like, she's a strong girl mentally. Okay, she might not be able to, pack a punch. Okay, which we see a little bit later on in this episode. She can pack a punch, but at least, you feel me? Mentally, she there. That's why I mess with her. Okay, so they get back to the cots. And Jamie's just like, she missed her kids. She feels as if she's being like a bad mom when she just leaves her kids like this, right? So they have this thing during this episode, and I'm guessing they're gonna do it this whole season. It's called an interrogation room. So every time they feel the DS group feels as if one of the cast members, they have to investigate them further because of their behavior during the challenge. So let's say somebody's crying, like crying so hard during a challenge, they're gonna be like, what's wrong with you? Like, why are you crying so much? So they're gonna put you in a room and they're gonna talk to you and like be like, what's up? Right? Mind you, one of the DS is this bald, like buff dude, like I'm talking about like, whoo, you be like, she like, whoo, like that type of vibe. So he's intimidating. We have the British dude with the light blue eyes, right? So he's just like, look at you, you coconut, you idiot. Look at you can't even do it. Fail. Like, he just kept saying that every time somebody didn't complete the task properly. Because if you don't complete the task properly for each mission, it's called a fail, okay? But the best thing is just to not quit. Because if you quit and decide you can't do the challenge, you're automatically ejected from the task force, okay? So they pull in Jamie and interrogate her, and they're like, what's up? Like, why did you panic after you fell? Even though you passed the mission, you didn't fall dramatically, you fell straight back. And she was just like, oh, it's because of my daughter, and explains the whole daughter situation I told you guys earlier. And she also says that she never really felt like she accomplished anything because Brittany, if you guys don't know, when she was younger, Brittany got big and famous, so she felt like she never really accomplished anything on her own. And I'm like, girl, you shaped a lot of our childhoods and you don't even know it. You're Zoe 101, okay? They didn't replace you after the show ended. They didn't, keep the show going and swap the girl out for you, girl. You're Zoe. Like, you're that girl. Like, what? Come on now. For the people that was Zoe 101, you feel what I'm feeling. Like, that was my show. So even though Nickelodeon, it's come out now that like they have some things going on back in the heydays, but that was still like, that was that show. So Dr. Drew, you guys, ended up feeling unwell. Mind you, Dr. Drew, if y'all know Dr. Drew old, like he up there. Old as mold. Okay, so he really up there. So after 10 hours, they ejected him because he couldn't medically go on. Like, physically, he was not able to keep going on because he wasn't able to handle it. And I was like, y'all got this old man out here about to risk his life for y'all entertainment. Baby. So then they do another challenge where they have to go through like this crash course through like dirt and like a tunnel. There's this actress that's on there called Beverly. She, I guess, was on Seventh Heaven. I never heard of her, but like they focused a lot on her. So I thought she was going to end up quitting. She started to cry during this challenge so hard. I'm talking about like bawling. She's like, Mom, I can't do this. Why my leg? And then she's like, mind you, Beverly, you guys, used to be an actress, and she says what bothers her in her, career is that she's seen a lot of her friends make it, and she just sat back and watched them all succeed or whatever because she, I guess, didn't have the confidence and stuff to keep on going. Okay, so that's like a big part of her storyline. And the next day we see Jamie. She wanted to go home so bad because she felt like a crappy mom, because she said when she was 16 and pregnant, they put her on a magazine and they called her a SLUT, they called her ho 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 ho, like they called her all those type of names on these magazines and stuff like that. And it's funny, like when you think back in the day, Them magazines used to go in. That was the shade room before there was a shade room. Like they used to go in. Before you had to worry about Instagram comments, you had to worry about what the magazine's gonna say on that front cover. So like I could only imagine what she went through when she got pregnant. Because a lot of us, and I'm not gonna lie, I was one of them. I blamed her for ruining Zoe 101 because it's like because she got pregnant, the show ended. So everybody was like, wow, like you just ruined our childhood. But I feel like a lot of us owe her an apology because I feel like she took a lot of guilt from that mentally because of it, right? So the DS is talking about the cast. One of the cast members is like a restaurant manager, something like that. And he was like, yeah, me, you know, in the military and everything, like we're sort of the same because like we you know, we have the same principles. And so I said, I know you're not comparing cooking and hospitality to serving. And they were kind of laughing at him about that. They were like, yeah, they feel as if he thinks that he's on their level when he's really not. So they have to rate themselves in the weakest to the strongest in a line. Okay. So Dwight Howard, that's on there as well, he rates himself the strongest. So they're all in the line and they have to like figure out who's the strongest on the left, weakest to the right, everybody in between, right? So you go to where you think you are in this competition so far. So Beverly, you guys, the one I told you guys was crying, the actress girl, she goes at the very beginning. Dwight, you guys, goes at the very end. Okay? Mind you, Dwight Howard, you guys, you know, he just think he got it. Like he was just like, yeah, like I feel like I'm one of the best NBA players of all time. You know, a lot of us, you know, can't really say that, but I really and truly real deal think I am. You know, my record speaks for itself. You feel me? Ask Royce. I'm like, okay, Dwight. I'm playing. But of course, Dwight's the strongest, Beverly's the weakest, and some people that were in between. Kenya, to me, she put herself as the third weakest, which I'm just like, Kenya, you know you're not that weak. So like she no. Mentally, she's there, and physically, Kenya's in shape. So I don't know why she did that. Okay. So the next challenge is a jump rope test. So they literally are suspended in two high mountains, and they have to literally crawl between two ropes. So there's ropes on top of them, and there's ropes below them, and they have to literally crawl and shimmy sashay over mountains, and they're about like 600-700 feet in the air. So they have to literally shimmy shake, 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 all throughout the mountain. I could never. I say that and I probably would do it, no cap. But I'm afraid of heights. I'm truly afraid of heights. So when I see them do it, I was like, oh my God. Cause ooh, I'm talking about high, y'all. Entertainers, I'm talking about like skyscraper high. They were like up high. They were so high it wasn't even funny. So then Dwight goes first, right? Because since he's the strongest, he claims. And mentally, it showed that he was weak because he couldn't last during the little shimmy shake, and then he ended up falling, and it was a fail. Y'all know the British guy. He was like, "Fail! You failed the toss. Look at you! Look at you!" So the next person is that withdraws is Tyler Florence. So this celebrity withdraws because he feels as if his wife told him that he wanted him to be safe for her birthday. Like he wanted him to take care of himself and be safe during this challenge. So he withdrew because his wife request, and he felt like during this challenge he wouldn't be safe, so he withdrew himself. So that was the third person down. So Kate Gossett was first, Dr. Drew was second, which I don't know why he thought he was gonna do this challenge, bro. You old. And then Tyler Florence was the third to withdraw. Okay. And then Beverly, you guys, goes, right? So the crying actress. So she goes and she's crying. She almost makes it, you guys. And she sort of like stumbles and falls, but she just was crying even more afterwards because she felt like she was almost there and she never made it. And she compares it to her real life, meaning like in her career, she feels like every time she's almost there, she ends up like not getting it completely. And the DS team, you guys, ended up yelling at Dwight. I'm talking about like yelling because he caught an attitude. The British guy especially. Because he was just like, oh, you think you're the strongest one, don't you, Dwight? And then Dwight kind of like gave, I guess Dwight says that the reason why he kind of was smiling or giving him like smizing at him is because he couldn't see because of the sun. But I think he was being slick. Like he was like, who this dude think he talking to type? Because Dwight, he's a big girl. I'm playing. He's a big guy. Like he's a really, really big guy. So like I think he feels as if he's like head honcho because he's one of the biggest dudes there during the whole cast. So the British guy was just like, who you smiling at? What the smoke off your face? Yeah, look at you. You couldn't even last. Look at you. I'm talking about real military style. If y'all haven't checked out this show, please do. Because it gives. Like, it gives. And it low-key kind of makes you think of what would you do in that if you were in that situation as well. That's why I really, really like it. So they didn't like his attitude, especially the British dude. So they get back. And mind you, while everybody was going, you know what it reminded me of? When Tyra Banks was like, how dare you? You think this is a joke? I was wrong for you. It was giving me that type of vibe because while everybody else was going on the rope, Dwight was like laying down and like laughing and relaxing, and they was like, "Oh, you." One of the sergeants came up. He was like, "Oh, you think this is a joke? Get up! I want you to do 50 push-ups round the floor right here. 50 push-ups, 50 push-ups." So he had to do like about 100 some push-ups because he was resting while everybody else was still going and not trying to learn from how everybody else was doing on the rope 100,000 feet in the air. So the surgeons was mad about that. They felt that he was being a little cocky about it and he was being cute. Dwight, to me, he comes across as somebody who hides a lot of who he is and like puts off that he's like this cocky, confident guy, but deep down he's really not. I can tell. Like I've met dudes like him. Like you could kind of read him easily. So the DS team does their which is the surgeons, they do their research on Dwight and they see that it's a lot of reports showing why a lot of people don't like him because of his attitude. They feel like he's cocky and stuff like that, right? So the British guy, you guys, gets Dwight and they bring him into their interrogation room to see what's wrong with him. Okay, to get him to answer some questions. So they're like, oh, like, did you catch the attitude that you did? Like, he was like, I caught a little attitude, I didn't like the way you were smiling and laughing at it. Okay, you didn't take the challenge seriously. So what's wrong? Huh? You think this is funny? It's not funny. So then Dwight was just like, no, I didn't think that. No, I didn't think that. It's just, I don't know why I'm here. So they was just like, okay, then if you didn't think you have a bad attitude or anything like that, what's this? So they show him the laptop with all his reports of why people don't like him, why they think he have a bad attitude, all this stuff, all his online criticism. And he says the reason why people take him across as being cocky or like they think he's like slick is because every time he smiles, he ends up crushing the game, meaning like he wins every game that he comes across cocky on. So people don't like it because they're seeing him as cocky. Meanwhile, he says that's not really how he is as a person. Okay. So the next challenge, y'all, they had to come. I thought they was gonna set them on fire because I seen a preview to where they had to literally put. I think I seen this. It was on this show for sure. One of the previews. I think it was on an extended trailer. They setting them on fire where they have like this big suit on. I said, and I ain't got no excuse to watch this show because it's on a basic channel. I know a lot of you guys, y'all got to download no nothing. Y'all got to buy no nothing. None of that, okay? And if y'all got Spotify, that means I got Hulu. So, because I know that. So, Hulu, you go watch it on Hulu. It's free on Hulu. And it's on a basic channel, Fox. So, it's on a basic channel. It's free. Ain't got to download, pay no nothing, okay? So, make sure y'all tune in next week on Wednesday. All right? So, next challenge, they have to combat this guy in this red armor, so they have to literally fight them. Mel B goes first, and this episode, she talked about like how she had like an abusive like relationship in the past. So I thought this challenge was gonna be the one that would have do her because she literally had to fight the guy, but she ended up doing good. And even the sergeants were really impressed by that because they thought that she was gonna end up quitting because of her story. And then Beverly goes, and of course she's crying heavily. She's throwing the guy, whatever, and she was barely fighting the guy. I was just like, girl, use that little anger when somebody denied you of a role, bro, because maybe I'd be angry. You feel me? Just like, ooh, like throw that, like, you feel me? But she wasn't. No. Kenya goes, right? Kenya Kenya was throwing the blow. She said, boom, boom. She was kicking. I said, Kenya, where was this energy when Portia was around? Okay? Because Kenya was throwing them. Kenya was left foot, right hook. She boot, boot, beat, bop, beat. I said, don't let me call Portia. Okay? No, for real. Kenya was throwing them. I said, okay. So she did really good during this challenge as well. And then we see Montel Jordan, who he did great too, but the guy who's in the red suit ended up hitting him. So he ended up falling in, breaking thumb. He ends up getting withdrawn as well. Okay? So he ends up getting withdrawn, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right? So the last person that they take in for interrogation to see what's really wrong with them is Beverly, the crying actress. So they take her in, and she was saying that they asked her, why do you always keep crying, and why do you feel so less confident than what you are? Because she did better in the challenge with the rope than Dwight did. Like, mentally, she was stronger than Dwight. So they were like, why do you think that you're weaker than what you actually are? She was just like, she always has been put down and always been told no. So she took that into consideration, and she sort of like really started to believe that and stuff like that. It was kind of sad. I low-key got emotional. I'm just like, oh my God, like, oh, this show really does something to you. And then the last thing they have them do is do the same thing they did in the beginning, where they have them line up from strongest to weakest. Dwight humbled himself, and he didn't label himself as the strongest, so he moved down in the line, and Beverly moved up in the line because she did better in the challenges than some of the other people. So yeah, okay. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. I really like this show. I think it's one of the best shows I've seen in a minute. It's different. It's not the same that we've seen in a whole bunch of other reality shows. I love it. Down, okay? All right, entertainers, leave your comments down below, and we are out, babies.
No personal thing.